Most likely, Medicare is going to be a big part of your life after 65, whether you like it or not. So I'm happy you're here because you need to at least have an idea of how Medicare works and, more importantly, how it affects you. Medicare is our national health insurance program for people over 65 and for people who are under 65 that are receiving Social Security disability benefits. Participation is essentially mandatory if you want to have health insurance in this country, and on top of Medicare, you can and probably should have additional private insurance. But again, you still have to enroll in Medicare in order for supplemental insurance to take effect. When you turn 65, Medicare becomes the primary payer. That means they pay first, and after Medicare pays, that's when supplemental insurance kicks in. The only insurance that is ahead of Medicare is employer group coverage that covers 20 or more employees. So if you or your spouse are still working for a big company, you do not need to sign up for Medicare when you turn 65. That's really the only exception for signing up on time. If you don't enroll in Medicare on time, you will be subject to late enrollment penalties, and your insurance claims may even go unpaid. And again, that's because most health plans will only pay after Medicare has made their payments. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that actually means for you. If you've gotten this far, then you're probably finding this content somewhat valuable, so please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's get back to it. So before your 65th birthday, you will need to find out two things. Number one, will you be able to maintain your current insurance coverage after you turn 65? And number two, if you can, how does that coverage work with Medicare? So let's take a step back and look at a few common situations. In the first situation, your current coverage will terminate when you become eligible for Medicare at 65. In this case, you will enroll in Medicare and then find supplemental coverage to fill the gaps that Medicare doesn't cover. In our second situation, your current coverage will continue, but you will still be advised to enroll in Medicare. As I mentioned earlier, this is because many health plans pay and work with Medicare and only pick up some or all of the costs that Medicare doesn't cover. Remember, Medicare pays first. In the next situation, your current coverage may continue, but at a high cost to you. In this case, you probably want to decide to opt out of your current plan, enroll in Medicare, and then find some less expensive supplemental coverage to fill the gaps. In our fourth situation, yours or your spouse's current employer offers excellent group coverage to 20 or more employees. In this case, you may continue with the plan after you turn 65, but once you retire, you will need to enroll in Medicare. Let's now switch gears to what Medicare actually covers. And this is where some people get thrown off. So don't get frustrated if it doesn't stick the first time. Part A covers part of the cost of hospitalizations. See what I did there? Part A, hospitalizations. Part B covers part of the cost of doctor visits and other healthcare visits. Part D, I always think of D for drugs, covers prescription drugs and is offered through private insurers. For instance, when there is a hospitalization under Part A, or you incur a medical expense under Part B, the bill is first sent to Medicare. Remember from earlier that Medicare pays first. In this case, the government will pay its portion, so let's say 80%, and the remaining amount is billed to you. That is unless you have supplemental insurance, and in that case, they may pay all or part of the bill that remains. Part D, remember D for drugs, works a little differently because the insurance is offered through private companies that work directly with Medicare. In order to have your prescription drugs covered by insurance, you need to find a Medicare drug plan that fits your specific needs. You should have several drug plans to choose from, each having its own drug list and offerings. So shopping for prescription drug plans and finding one that offers the coverage you need, the drugs you take at a price you can afford, is a key part of the process. Let's jump into the fun part, the cost. Some people think Medicare is free, but it's definitely not. If there is a hospitalization under Part A, then you will pay a deductible before Medicare even pays its share. And if your hospitalization lasts for more than 60 days, you will be responsible for paying part or all of the daily rate. Part B actually charges a monthly premium. If you are receiving Social Security, it will come directly out of your monthly benefit. And if you haven't started Social Security yet, you will just get a bill from Medicare. If you're a high income earner, then you also get to pay an extra amount on top of that base premium. Lucky for you. It's important to note that because Medicare pays only part of the bill, you or your other insurance pays the remaining amount. So this means there is no limit to the out-of-pocket expenses you could potentially pay. This is why people have supplemental insurance. For Part D, Medicare subsidizes prescription drug coverage through payments to private insurers, but you will still likely have to pay a monthly premium to the insurer offering your drug plan. In addition to the monthly premium, there may be an annual deductible, as well as a copay or coinsurance each time you get a prescription filled. Terms and premiums vary among drug plans, which is why you'll need to shop carefully for the right plan that fits your specific needs. Let's change over to enrollment in Medicare, which some people think is automatic, but this is only true if you are receiving Social Security when you turn 65. This would mean that you filed for Social Security early. If you are not receiving Social Security, you will need to proactively sign up for Medicare 3 months before your 65th birthday. You do this through the Social Security Administration. You can either give them a call or go online. However, enrolling in Medicare through the Social Security Administration only takes care of Parts A and B. If you want Part D, you will first need to choose a prescription drug plan, and then you can enroll in Part D through the private insurer or through Medicare. Remember that if you don't enroll in Medicare during the appropriate enrollment period, you may have to pay a late enrollment period when you finally do enroll. The initial enrollment period is for everyone who will be signing up for Medicare at 65, which is pretty much everyone, unless you're part of one of those big employer group plans that we talked about a little bit earlier. The initial enrollment period starts 3 months before you turn 65, and this period extends for a full 7 months. But you want to enroll during the first 3 months in order to have Medicare coverage actually start on the first day of the month that you turn 65. So you do have some time, but you should start 3 months before. For those who don't enroll at 65 because they are covered by a large employer, you have a special enrollment period that entitles you to sign up later. So to avoid coverage gaps, you want to make sure you enroll in Medicare before your group coverage actually ends. However, late enrollment penalties can still be avoided if you enroll by the end of the 7 month after your group coverage ends. If you miss your initial or special enrollment period, the only other time of the year you may enroll in Medicare is during the general enrollment period, which runs January 1st through March 31st of each year. But as I mentioned, late enrollment penalties will probably be added. Because there are so many out-of-pocket costs associated with Medicare, part of your Medicare enrollment process will be shopping for private plans. You should do this well before you're ready to actually enroll, so your supplemental insurance will start at the same time. Medicare supplemental insurance is also known as Medigap, and it is designed to cover the gaps Medicare does not cover. It's kind of nice when they use intuitive words that make sense, like Medigap. These gaps come from deductibles, copays, and coinsurance amounts for Medicare-approved services. And there's a range of choices available to you, and if you sign up during your initial or special enrollment period, you cannot be denied coverage regardless of your health status. That is a very important thing to take note of, especially if you are in poor health. Policies are standardized so that all policies identified by the letter A through N offer the exact same benefits. For example, Plan F, which is the most popular and comprehensive, provides the same benefits no matter which insurance company you buy it for. If your employer offers retiree coverage, you may not need to buy supplemental insurance coverage at all. Your retiree plan may offer better coverage at a lower price. However, you may still need to enroll in parts A and B, but your HR department should be able to help you with that. Medicare Advantage plans are offered by private insurers are just one more way to get Medicare. They are sometimes called Part C. Insurers offering Medicare Advantage plans contract with Medicare and receive per capita amount from Medicare. They are then responsible for delivering all care under Parts A and B. Most also offer Part D prescription drug coverage. And if you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, you may get extra services such as vision care or a wellness program in addition to Medicare gap coverage. You must enroll in Parts A and B and pay Part B premiums along with any premiums charged by the Medicare Advantage plan. So it's really a cost thing. Medicare Advantage plans are distinct from Medigap policies. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you may not apply for a Medigap policy as well. If you're already on Medicare, savvy Medicare planning does not stop when you actually enroll in Medicare. In fact, if you or even your parents are already on Medicare, you should periodically review your other plans to make sure you have the coverage you need and that you're not overpaying for additional premiums. There's a wide variation in premiums charged by the private insurers offering Part D prescription drug plans, Medigap policies, and Medicare Advantage plans. Furthermore, prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans are free to change their coverage terms and premium pricing annually, so they can jack up the prices at any time. Medigap plans are more stable in terms of their benefits since the plans are standardized, but insurance companies can and do raise their premiums from time to time. And the marketplace may have changed since you bought your policy, so you might be able to get the same policy for a lower price. So go out there and shop around. If you have a Part D drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan, be sure to watch your mail in the fall of each year because that's when the drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans announce their benefits and pricing for the coming year. You should read this information carefully so you can decide if you want to keep your current plan and pay the new premium or shop around for a new plan. As a reminder, it's important to pay attention to the calendar. The annual open enrollment period occurs from October 15th through December 7th of each year, and during this time, the drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans may be giving seminars in your area. This is your chance to learn about other plans and do some careful comparison shopping. To switch plans, contact the new plan before December 7th so that your new coverage will begin and take effect on January 1st. I know I threw a lot at you, but I hope it was helpful. I'm Gragg, your certified financial planner with Advanced Planning Solutions, and I'll see you in my next video.